Okay, so the big question is answered. My puppy B2 is playing with a very loud toy, but Novak Djokovic questioned the big answer. Sorry, guys. Gotta take this away from my puppy. He's making too much noise. Anyway, Novak Djokovic answered the big question in this classic showdown. He does not have a serious injury. I'm not saying he's not in some pain. I'm not saying there's nothing there. I'm not saying he's faking anything. But there is no way, there is zero way you play a match like that and do everything you had to do to win and have a serious injury. So if you are a Novak Djokovic fan, you have got to be feeling good because he obviously is feeling a lot better than maybe a lot of us were worried about. It was just such, I don't know if you guys watched this match. Let me know who was on, who watched this match. What did you think of the match? I thought it was outstanding quality match, which I was super excited to see because I think the two things we didn't want as tennis fans is A, to see Novak out there hobbling around, not being able to really hit through shots and just being a wounded duck out there trying to do the best he could. And B, we didn't want to see Alexander Zverev choke away the match. We didn't want to see cringy double faults. We didn't want to see him decelerate on his forehand. Well, to both their credit, neither of that happened in this match. Novak Djokovic played very, very high level, very physical tennis. A lot of his just things that he's known for as far as running down shots, hitting great shots on the run, in super physical condition, hitting big serves when he needed to. His serve was huge tonight on big points. When he faced break points, lots of times he hit an ace. So, I mean, he's ripping through that ball. And Alexander Zverev, barely any double faults. I don't have the match stats in front of me, but I cannot think. Let me know, guys. Can you think of one double fault? I can't go back in my mind after watching that match, and I watched it right after the first set. I can't think of one double fault from Alexander Zverev. I can think of just a couple of shaky forehands, but other than that, I mean, it was a solid performance by both players. The match was streaky, but I think it was streaky only because one player got hot, not because the other player necessarily dropped their level so much. What you saw, I'm glad he won and didn't feel much pain. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Yes, Sam. Yeah. So Novak felt great. What a player Novak is. Literally has no weakness. If you guys don't know, I'm reading the comments here. We are on live. And who can stop this beast? Well, I think one thing we know for sure is that Novak will be in the finals. I mean, I just don't see Karatsev, who's had an amazing tournament, qualifier, 27 years old. Now he's in the semifinals. I think it is going to be too much to face the beast, as you say. So Novak is into the semifinals with a very courageous performance, outstanding tennis. One thing we know is he is not injured, guys. So that was the big question. People are going, is he injured? Is he faking? I don't think it's either. I don't think he's faking, but I don't think he's seriously injured. I think it's just more a matter of him, feeling better than he expected and be able to play his brand of tennis. And I was super happy to see Alexander Zverev show up. One thing we know, I've been hard on him. Most tennis fans have been hard on him. The commentators have been hard on him. And poor Alexander Zverev has been very, very hard on himself when he is not performing at his high level. And we know what happens when he doesn't perform well. He double faults a lot. He misses forehands. He sprays balls. But here's the good thing for Alexander Zverev. He played Novak Djokovic playing at a very high level. Novak Djokovic played his game. You can't say he didn't play at a high level. He played at a very high level, and Alexander Zverev did too. And he really, I know he's disappointed. I know it's a super tough loss, but I hope he is very proud of himself. And I hope he remembers this match for a long time, that he went against one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest player of all time. And he went toe-to-toe with him, and his game stood up. His physical game stood up, and his mental game stood up. He did not choke this match. I don't want to hear anybody say that Alexander Zverev choked this match or didn't play a good match. He played great, great tennis. I was super proud of him. I was happy to see it. I think it literally just came down to a couple points. And you know, that's how the great ones do it. They always win matches where it just comes down to a couple of crucial points. And you know, who's your pick for the finals? Okay, so we've got, hello Chris, nice to see you. Okay, so I've got a question. Who's my pick for the finals? Well, first of all, Djokovic, just pencil him in right now. He is not going to lose. He's not going to beat Zverev the way he did and then go into Karatsev and lose that match. There's just no way. It's going to be too overwhelming a moment for this guy who's a qualifier in the semifinals, which is amazing. Full credit to him, but you're not taking out the Serbian beast, as we like to say. So pencil Novak in for the finals, and then if Rafa is looking over and knows Novak is there on the other side, it's pretty hard to deny that he's not gonna be in the finals. Although his path now all of a sudden to win this tournament just got a lot harder because he sees how Novak played. He knows Novak's gonna be there, and now he's got to be thinking to himself. Nadal's got to be thinking to himself, man, I've got to go through Tsitsipas, who's playing awesome. I got to go through either Rublev or Medvedev, who are both playing awesome, and I think it's probably going to be Medvedev. So I think Nadal's path to the final is Tsitsipas, Medvedev, and then beating Djokovic. Like if he wins this tournament, give Nadal 2 Grand Slam titles. Like just give him 2. And it's almost as good as getting him 2, because if he wins this, then the French is right there. He probably is going to add another 2 to his collection. So I think it's a tall order for Nadal. It's going to be really, really tough, but I'm going to pick, it's going to be what we always see. I mean, probably Nadal, Djokovic, although Tsitsipas and Medvedev and Rublev, anyone in that bottom half, they're all playing at such a high level to where they all of them could reach the finals. So it's going to be an awesome finish to this tournament, guys. Why does everybody have a problem with Novak saying he's injured? Didn't Nadal say well, Novak, okay. So this is a great question. Zach, first of all, so Zach Nelson commented, he goes, why is everybody having a problem with Novak, like hinting that he might be hurt? We know he called for an injury timeout. We know that he's had an MRI. We can see it at times that he looks hurt. So why is everybody getting on him and they don't get on Nadal? They don't get on Federer. And I want you to know, Zach, that I'm a huge Novak fan. I love Novak. You see, I believe you can love all three. There's you know, let's have love in this world. I love Federer. I love Federer. I love Nadal, and I love Djokovic. And I have defended Djokovic all the time when people say he's too arrogant, he's too cocky, he's got an anger problem. But today, I really saw, I had to be honest, and I had to say to myself, I really see why some people, not me, why some people don't love Djokovic and they love Nadal and Federer so much. Because Djokovic, first of all, there's no way he can say he's injured after that racket bash, okay? So he loses, he's getting frustrated. Now, this is part of his strength. I don't think he should stop it. Just like Serena Williams, you know, sometimes she taps into her anger to make big comebacks. So Novak was struggling out there, not physically. His opponent was putting him under a lot of pressure. And I think the score is like 3-0. And there was like a real battle going on. And Novak just kept falling short. And then he took his racket and he bashed it into pieces. The poor ball girl had to come out, and she was like cleaning up his mess for an uncomfortable long time. It must have been awkward to know that you just broke that racket. You're watching this poor like 16, 17-year-old girl like wiping off your racket for like, I don't know, what seemed to be like 2 minutes. There was so much debris off of Novak's smash. And he was bringing in there's full body shots into that concrete. So we know he's feeling pretty good to do that. But as he did that, I'm like, you see, you're never going to see Federer do that. You're never going to see Nadal do that. They're not going to have a tantrum and just bash the racket into smithereens. And another thing that you're not going to see Federer do or Nadal do which Djokovic did, which is so awkward. Let me know if anybody has any insight into this. Novak was looking at his not his fans, his box. His box, his coach, Goran Ivanisevic, his support team. He was looking at them like he wanted to kill them. Like if looks could kill, Novak's box would be laying there out cold. Like he literally was giving them the death look, yelling at them, screaming at them. It didn't look like it was like, come on, box, let's go. He looked like, I'm mad at you that I'm going through all this struggle out here. It was very, very awkward to watch. And it just makes no sense. Your box is over there, they're living and dying with every point. And there's so many players that take all their frustration out on the box. The team that has their back the most always gets the most abuse. Maybe it's like having, your parents who you sometimes just have a little tantrum against because they're the only ones you can really get away with it. I don't know, because as soon as he wins, his box is hugging each other. Personally, if someone was yelling at me like that for a couple hours, I'd just leave. But it was pretty amazing. Djokovic is very clutch. I think next gen isn't ready for the moment. I mean, and Alexander Zverev, you can't really. At some point, you have to say these guys are adults now. I mean, Zverev is there, and I don't think it was like the next gen not living up to it. I think he played very, very good. I think he played very clutch in many moments, Alexander Zverev. Just a couple times did we see I didn't really see a shaky serve ever. I can't think of a double fault. I saw a couple shaky forehands. But Novak just showed why he's arguably the greatest. He was so awesome. But going back to my point, bashing the racket like that, yelling at the box like that we have to admit is why people don't like Novak. Nadal is not going to do that. Federer's not going to do that. And I think at some point, Djokovic, because I think Djokovic gets hurt that the fans don't like him as much. I mean, it's not like he's so bad out there. He's certainly nothing like John McEnroe in the day or Jimmy Connors in the day, who the fans loved and hated. But he's going against such a high bar in Federer and Nadal, who just always do and say the right thing. It's an impossible expectation to live up to, especially when those two were there first. They were there first, and everybody wanted to deem them the two greatest players of all time. And then Novak comes and he starts beating them and he starts ripping off his shirt, pounding his chest. He loses his temper. He bashes rackets. He yells at his box. He's hit, a line judge. He's ripped a towel from a ball kid in anger. He has a fiery temper. Now, Novak off the court, if you've ever seen him, is amazing. He's always signing a bunch of autographs. He's awesome to the ball kids. He's given a ton of money to charities. Novak is a really good person. I want everybody to kind of understand that. I have embarrassed myself on the court many times, and I think I'm a good person. I mean, when you get out there and the rage takes over, it's hard to control it. And I think that's all that happens to Novak. So if you're somebody that doesn't like Novak, I ask you to give him a better chance and look at what he does off the court. He does a lot of amazing things off the court. And I can tell you firsthand, he is amazing to kids. And he's given a lot to charities. But he does have a temper that Novak fans just can't deny. And maybe you like it. I used to like when McEnroe went crazy. But it is there. And that is the reason why Federer and Nadal just get more love than he does. And I don't even know if it's something that Novak should bottle up and try and suppress, because I think I think some players just need to let it out. And after Novak had his tantrums, gave the glaring look to his box like he wanted to kill them, he played better and he won. So what are you going to do? All right. This is the fire is kind of why I like him, says Zach Nelson. He does what he needs to do to win. Vance says Joker is the villain of the trio, but not bad necessarily. Every story needs a villain. And, I think that's the thing that's kind of crazy. Is Novak really a villain? I don't look at him like a villain. I look at him like a human. And I just looked at that the bar is so high with Nadal and Federer. And when you try and compare him to that and you say, well, if you don't act exactly like that, you're just not a good person and you're a villain and you're evil. I don't think that that is right. I think overall, 99% of the time, Novak carries himself with class. I don't think like McEnroe was a super brat. He was a jerk. I almost wanted to curse here, and I love McEnroe, but I'm going to just say he was an a-hole. McEnroe was an a-hole. Okay. He was a villain champion. Like, he's the villain. He was a bad guy, right? McEnroe he was a jerk. Novak Djokovic, 99% of the time, carries himself as a classy champion. I think Novak is a classy champion. I think he's a really good person. It's just that once in a while, he has to blow off steam, and I think most of us are like that. I would be lying to you if I say sometimes when I play, and now I don't even care if I win. I'm not playing my juniors anymore. I'm not in college anymore. I just go out there and play for fun. I still lose my temper. I still get upset. I still want to hit somebody when I miss a shot. It's not right, but that's in me. It just is what it is. So anyway, I just want to say congratulations, Novak Djokovic. You are amazing, and you're not injured. You're not injured. You are ready to win this tournament. So anybody worried about Novak being injured, he is not. He is fine. He's going to be there at the end. It's for someone to win the tournament against Novak, you're going to have to play great tennis. He's not going to roll over. He's not going to be too hurt to hit his shots. He's going to make you take it from him. And that's scary because, Novak's got 17 Grand Slams, and most of them are from the Australian Open. And lately, he's been unbeatable in the finals at the Australian Open. He is tough. Dominic Thiem gave him all he can handle last year. That was as close as he's come in a while to somebody taking that trophy from him. So I think Novak's going to be there, and it's going to be tough for him not to win. Everybody channels stress differently, says Andrew. I think that's exactly right. My thought on Novak's serve. Okay. All right. I'm glad that I got a question on Novak's serve because, first of all, if you heard, I'm actually going to make a video on this. Brad Gilbert said that Novak Djokovic has the perfect ball toss. And I totally agree. But I want to go one step further. I'm not saying Novak has the biggest serve on tour. Obviously, he doesn't have the biggest serve on tour. But technically, it is flawless. And that, as a coach, should be really good news for everybody because he's had to work at it. Novak's technique on his serve has not always been flawless. Now, B2 wants to come up and say hello. He's jumping up on me, so he's going to have to say hello. B2, how good is Novak Djokovic? Everybody, this is B2, my puppy B2, if you've never seen him before. He's a wild man. He's been off stage, jumping, playing with toys, beating things up back here, basically having Novak Djokovic tantrums, right? Okay, I'm going to put you down. But Novak Djokovic's serve, guys, is amazing. And you see this Australian Open hat? I was there last year, 4th row, watching him play Raonic. He played Raonic last year too. And I was thinking, man, that serve is underrated. You watch it in person, his serve's big, guys. Novak Djokovic, make no mistake about it, is just not putting the ball in play to start the point. Novak Djokovic's serve is a legit weapon. He's got precision, just as we heard in the comments, and he's got power, and it's technically perfect, okay? He hits that ball exactly at the apex, which is what Brad Gilbert was saying. Like, the toss is right there, and it's just sitting there, and he just crushes it every time. Novak Djokovic's serve is awesome. It's a weapon. And guess what? On some big points tonight against Zverev, he used it at the exact right moment. Notice how many big points Novak Djokovic didn't have to grind out the point, that he hit an ace, or he hit an unreturnable serve, or he hit a serve to where he was able to then step around and hit a forehand winner, or at least make Zverev have to run and hit a weak shot, finish off with a volley, or Zverev missed. Tennis Paris brothers, some of my favorite people out there, they say still a strong believer on Medvedev being dominant, one to take the Australian Open. Medvedev is playing very, very good, guys. I agree. And so is Rublev. People have been sleeping on Andre Rublev, including me. But I've watched some of his highlights now, and I'm like, this guy is on fire. Like, don't sleep on him. He could shock the world in this tournament. I'm talking about Rublev. Medvedev, I think if Medvedev won, I don't think anybody would be shocked. I think if Rublev won the Australian Open, I think people would be shocked. If Karatsev won the tournament, everybody would be shocked. I don't think that's going to happen. Nadal wins the tournament, no one's shocked, and he all of a sudden is in the driver's seat as the greatest player of all time. So this is a huge tournament for both Novak and Nadal. Think about this. Nadal wins, he's at 21. Novak's still sitting on 17, going in the French Open. That's big. Then Nadal wins the French Open. He's at 22. Novak's still stuck on 17. All of a sudden, we're looking at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 to tie, 23 to pass. That's 6 majors Novak would have to win past the age of 33. Now, we're used to it now because of Federer and Nadal, but no one's really ever done that before Federer and Nadal, winning 6 majors after 33. That's really hard to do. That's what he'd have to do, in my opinion, if Nadal wins. In my opinion, if Nadal wins, you can pencil him in for 2 Grand Slams this year. You can put him at 22. He'll win this one. He'll win the French for sure. But if Novak beats Nadal, or if Nadal doesn't get to the finals and Novak wins, now all of a sudden it's 2018, right? Maybe that momentum gives Djokovic confidence, and he somehow pulls off the French. Now all of a sudden it's 2019. Now they go into Wimbledon. I mean, everybody wants to say Federer is the greatest player on grass of all time. Well, every time that Djokovic has played him in the finals at Wimbledon on grass, going toe-to-toe, both players healthy, Djokovic wins. So, I mean, Djokovic is you're not thinking of Djokovic as a classic grass court player based off his style. Federer gets the nod for being the greatest grass court player based off of his style, his artistic, and he likes to come to the net. He looks like a grass court aficionado, which he is, and he's obviously one of the greatest grass court players of all time. But Novak, especially with the modern day grass not being fast, playing more slow, for the Wimbledon we play on today, Novak might be the best grass court player in the world. And so you could look at Novak possibly, if he wins the Australian Open, it wouldn't be that far-fetched for him to tie this year. And now all of a sudden at 33, you tie. Now all of a sudden Nadal and Federer have to be really nervous that you're going to be the one who's going to hold the most Grand Slams. So this Australian Open is extremely important, as all the Grand Slams are for the history books, until Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic either retire or it's obvious that they're past their prime, okay? Federer looks like he's just barely holding on to his prime. He's still playing prime-time amazing tennis. Nadal is obviously still playing at the highest level, and so is Djokovic. So I think it's going to come down to those 2 guys. So this is huge. Literally watching history unfold every slam, says Zach Wilson. You are right. AO is a must-win for Novak Djokovic, says Vance. And I agree. He needs to close the gap. He needs to close the gap. If he does not close the gap, Nadal is going to run away with this. I think if Nadal gets ahead, you see, it's not that Djokovic can't win 5 more majors, but when you're also being denied majors while someone else is picking up majors, that's less chances you have to win them. So, that's a huge gap. 2018 is not a huge gap, obviously. 21-17 is pretty big. 22-17 is really, really big. All of a sudden, I think, give it to Nadal. He's the greatest. So it's going to be interesting. But you know what? Sissipas saying, hey, guys, I'm listening to this conversation. I don't understand. I can win this tournament. And I think Medvedev's thinking the same thing. And I think Rublev's thinking the same thing. I don't know if our qualifier friend is thinking the same thing. Maybe he is. How is this guy 27 years old and just the first time qualifying and going this far? I don't get it, because to me, I don't see really many holes in his game. Do you guys see a weakness in this qualifier's game? It looks pretty solid. It looks like a guy who year in and year out should be top 20 in the world. Like, he looks awesome. His serve is great. His movement's great. His forehand's great. His backhand's great. Like, what am I missing? How has this guy not been here before? I don't get it. But I do think that he will be overwhelmed against Novak. And I think if Novak showed us today how bad he wants to win. So he's going to be there. Pencil him in. Nadal's got a tougher road to the finals, but the championship mind, one thing that kind of reminds me of this moment right now I'm thinking of and how Nadal must be thinking is when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were playing against each other, and they both would look at each other's stats right before the night before. If Larry Bird played the night before Magic Johnson say, I would go look at his stats and see what Larry did, and I'd have to outdo him. And you know that Larry Bird would do the same thing. And then they always would think, man, if he got to the finals, I got to get to the finals. That is how Nadal must be looking at this now. He's going, dude, Novak just made a statement today. I'm going to see him if I want to get to 21, I got to get to the finals. I've got to stop him. Otherwise, he could catch me in Fed, and he's younger, and he could surpass us. So Nadal's going to do everything in his possible talent, mental toughness, everything he can do. He's going to do it to try and get to the finals. So whoever beats Nadal, if someone can beat Nadal on his way to the finals, they deserve it, because it is not going to be easy. And most people say that Nadal is the toughest player in the world to beat. And, Nadal's kind of been given that title. I mean, I think it's Novak or Nadal. I think they're the two toughest players in the history of tennis to win against, because if you're going to do it, you got to be mentally and physically an animal. You've got to be an animal to beat them, or you just got to hit a bunch of winners. You just got to overpower them somehow. I don't think Novak. Noah says, I don't think Novak is going to win the Aussie Open, says Noah. And you might be right, but I think his path to the final now is a lot easier. He's in the semifinals, and all he has to do is beat a qualifier. And that bottom half, whoever gets out of that bottom half, is going to be, they're going to have to go through a lot. Whoever gets out of the bottom half is going to have to go through a lot. I mean, think about that. If Medvedev has to beat Rublev, who's on fire, or Rublev has to beat Medvedev, who is another player who's extremely hard to win against, very physical. Tsitsipas would have to beat Nadal and then Medvedev or Rublev. I mean, who's ever getting to the finals on that side, that's a tall order. You're having to win 3 really tough mental and physical battles to win the title on the bottom half. I think Novak, he obviously can't take the qualifier lightly. He's going to have to play good to win. But I think he can kind of breathe a little bit of sigh of relief, like, man, I answered some big questions today. I physically showed up. I mentally showed up. And now I've got somebody who is most likely that moment's going to be really tough. Like, I mean, Novak needs this next match. Like, he needs a little bit of a mental breather. I think going against Zverev, I think he was nervous because he said, hey, if I'm going to beat Zverev, the body's going to have to hold up, because Zverev's going to make me have a lot of tough rallies. He knew he was in for a dogfight. So, maybe there could be a Cinderella story to where you go in just a little bit, your intensity's up here, you drop it here, and the other dude's on fire and better than you thought he was. Who knows? Wouldn't that be crazy? As much as we're talking here, if all of a sudden the qualifier wins the whole entire thing and Grand Slam race on temporary hold for a while, that'd be amazing. Do you think the big 3 will wait to retire if one passes the other in the overall? That's a good point. I'm predicting a Djokovic Medvedev final. I mean, I think the retiring is going to go exactly according to their age or if an injury happens. I mean, I think that Federer is obviously going to be the first one to retire. You would think, unless there's an injury. But I think it's going to go according to their age. I think Federer is going to play for another year or 2 max. I mean, I don't think he can play much longer than 2 years. And especially if he doesn't win a Grand Slam in those couple of years, he's going to be like, well, I had a freaking amazing career. I've been the most beloved tennis player of all time. And at that point, in 2 years, certainly somebody's going to be having more than 20. I mean, Federer's not going to finish with the most Grand Slams. I hate to tell everybody that. He's not going to finish tied. No way. 20 is going to be broken. 20 will be broken, which is amazing. It's going to be. So I really think that it comes down to Nadal and Djokovic, who's going to have the most. And, you know, right now, you have to give Nadal the slight advantage, especially if he can win this. I think if Nadal wins this Australian Open, he's going to be very, very tough to catch. Federer smashed his racket in Cincinnati. That is true, but it was a long time ago. It's a long time ago he smashed that racket. And Djokovic, you know, every year has his moments to where he loses his mind. He just flat out has a temper tantrum. I mean, he gets very, very frustrated. It's obvious to everybody. It's a little bit scary. I mean, you know, that he lost his temper so much that he hit the ball lady. That was just a weird deal. I mean, it was unlucky, but at the same time, he should be able to control that. And the way he smashed his racket tonight, you really can't excuse it. You can understand it. Like, I don't make an excuse when I throw my racket, you know, but I understand why I throw my racket. I mean, tennis is a very frustrating sport. And so I don't excuse it, but I understand it, but it's there. I mean, Nadal and Federer just don't act like Djokovic does. You know, you're not going to see Federer screaming and yelling at his box. I mean, they look at their box, they look concerned, they give fist pumps to the box. But, you know, Novak Djokovic tonight was pulling a big old Andy Murray. He was literally having a temper tantrum at his box, screaming and yelling at them. And it didn't look like it was like, I'm trying to get fired up by yelling at my box and we're like pumping each other up. It looked like he was so angry at them. And it's just kind of weird to see, but it is what it is. In my opinion, Djokovic still did not play that well. I disagree. I think Djokovic played very, very well. I think Djokovic played very, very well. I think that it was a streaky match and that one player get hot. See, I don't think like somebody's level went down and the other player just played like normal. I saw this match as one player get very hot and almost go in lockdown mode and not miss and hit winners. And the other player would just be slightly overwhelmed by that and lose and get down a break or two. So I thought Djokovic played great. I thought Alexander Zverev played great. I think it was a high-quality match. I don't think there was much giving back and forth. I think it was more of a taking match, taking the points. Again, one thing, if you just join me, one thing I'm super proud about Alexander Zverev is I can't think of a double fault, guys. Let me know. Comment below. How many double faults did he have? I don't think it was many. I watched it after the first set, and I can't think of one double fault he had. He might have had one or two. I didn't look at every single point, although I looked at almost every single point, you know, but I don't remember a double fault. All right. I love your videos, Pete. Thanks. Speed of Novak Djokovic in the fourth set. That forehand today. Yeah, I mean, he was awesome. Novak was awesome. I thought he played very well. I thought he made a big statement. I think the thing that we learned today is Novak is not hurt. That's the headline. He answered the big question. Is he injured? Is he faking it? I think the answer is neither. I don't think he's seriously injured. There's no way you play a match like that and be seriously injured. And I don't think he's faking it, guys. The physios can perform miracles. The painkillers, the wrappings, right? The adrenaline. That can all, the mind of being super competitive, that can all take away a nagging injury. I think that's what he has. I think he has my friend Matty B from Coffee Break Tennis, he read the different levels of tears in the stomach, and one could be a minor tear. I think what Novak has is a very minor tear that's probably repairing each and every day, that is not going to affect your play, and you're not going to hurt yourself anymore. You're not in danger of hurting yourself anymore. It's just going to hurt sometimes when you hit a forehand or a backhand, but overall, it's not going to overwhelm you, and you're not doing any more. You're not putting yourself in danger, and you're not in such agonizing pain to where you physically can't perform a skill. Obviously, right? Because I mean, Novak had to do everything to win tonight. He had to do every possible thing to win. So there you go. All right. Bullet Tooth 7 says, love your insights. How about a live stream of the Australian Open final with your commentary? Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it. Nadal has a problem with his back. I don't think he should go to the final. Are you a doctor? Did you see Novak's No, I didn't see his MRI, but we know that he obviously can't be severely injured and run back and forth and do what he did. You just can't. There's no way you can do it. The mind is not that strong to where Novak's carrying a very serious injury. Like, did you guys see the movie The Natural, to where Robert Redford hits his final home run and his side is bleeding? Novak's not facing that. Okay, he is probably a little hurt. It's probably more painful than you or I would face. I mean, he's definitely more mentally tough than anybody on this live stream, including myself. I mean, I do think he's hurting. I do think that he's got an injury, but I don't think he's faking it. And I don't think the injury is going to keep him from winning the final. That's what I'm trying to say here. B2 is also, he's, are you getting a little angry? Would you like to, B2 would like to weigh in on the final thoughts. B2, who's going to win? Who's going to win the Australian Open? Whisper in my ear. Who's winning? Go ahead. Take your time. Take your time. He's thinking about it. He says the final of the Australian Open is going to be shocking. Tune in to Crunch Time Coaching for the recap. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel if you love tennis, and especially if you love to learn some tennis too. If you're watching this and you're like, hey, I love tennis, I love to play tennis. One of the things that we talked about on tonight's or this morning's little broadcast here is how amazing and improved Novak Djokovic serve, how he's just not putting it in play. He won a lot of big points with his serve tonight. He faced some break points, and he had some clutch aces and some big bombs with some big forehands fall behind it. So next week, I'm starting a 7-day serve challenge. So you can be super motivated. You can like have all this. When you watch tennis, are you like me? When you watch tennis, you're like, man, I got to hit a tennis court today. I got to get on a tennis court today. Like, I am inspired. So if you are inspired by this tennis of the Australian Open, you should go to 7dayservechallenge.com, sign up, and you get free 48-hour access to each day, where we teach you how to improve your toss, how to hit your slice serve, how to hit a kick serve, how to add 10 to 15 miles an hour to your serve. You get all that. And if you want lifetime access, you can do that too. And I'm even there to critique your serve. So it's going to be really cool. And let's see, what else do I have to say? I think that's about it. Please like up this video so more people see this after the broadcast. So if you did enjoy this today, I would love a huge favor if you like smash up this like button. And if you've never seen my channel before, subscribe to the channel so you can hear more of these updates on the Australian Open, as well as, you know, Federer's coming back in a couple of weeks. We'll be on for those. And also, if you like tennis instruction, if you want to improve your serve, you want to improve your forehand, your backhand, your mental toughness, this is the channel to be on. So thank you so much. And we will see you guys on the next broadcast. I'll be back later today. We'll be reviewing Medvedev versus Rublev, and we'll be also previewing Rafael Nadal versus Tsitsipas, which is going to be a classic. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Take care.